Every month, thousands of people running OpenClaw are silently bleeding money on API tokens they do not need to be paying. And the worst part is that most of them do not even realize there's a way around it that uses a better model, costs nothing extra, and was officially blessed by OpenAI themselves. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to stop paying for API tokens to run your OpenClaw agent and switch it over to a frontier model. The kind that actually comes from one of the big three labs, all included inside a subscription you probably already have. Let me start with why this is even a problem in the first place. When OpenClaw first launched, people connected it directly to their Claude subscription, the Pro or Max plan. It worked for a while. Then Anthropic started canceling accounts, not warning them, canceling them outright. And since most people running OpenClaw were using Claude as their primary model for everything else as well, losing that account was a disaster. So the community moved to API tokens, the pay-per-use model where you are billed for every single call your agent makes. If you are running a proper OpenClaw setup with heartbeats, cron jobs, and regular tasks, those token costs add up fast. Running Opus 4.6 through the API is not cheap, and as your agent gets more capable and runs more tasks, the bill grows with it. The community started experimenting with cheaper open source models from Chinese providers to bring the cost down, as I explained in my previous videos. Those work fine for basic tasks, but they are not frontier models, and you feel the difference the moment you ask them to do something complex. Then something shifted. After OpenAI acquired Peter Steinberger and the OpenClaw project moved under their umbrella, the OpenAI team made an explicit public statement. They said, you can connect your ChatGPT subscription directly to OpenClaw as your model provider. Not a gray area, not something you have to hope does not get your account flagged. An official, publicly stated endorsement. That is a $20 a month subscription giving you access to GPT 5.3 Codex, one of the most capable models available right now, with no separate API billing on top. Here is how you actually set it up. Open your terminal and run the following three commands in order. The first one is OpenClaw onboard. This kicks off the authentication wizard and tells OpenClaw you want to connect using your ChatGPT subscription through the Codex pathway. It will open a browser window and ask you to sign into your OpenAI account. Sign in, approve the connection, and come back to the terminal. The second command is OpenClaw model set to GPT-5 Codex. This tells OpenClaw which specific model to use. GPT 5.3 Codex is the current flagship. Exceptional at coding tasks, strong at reasoning, and noticeably better at staying on track through long, multi-step agent tasks without derailing. The third command is OpenClaw model status. This just confirms everything is connected and shows you the current model status in a clean, readable format. That is it. Three commands, no API key, no billing dashboard to watch, no surprise charges at the end of the month. Now here is something worth understanding about why switching to a better model actually saves you money, even though the per token cost is technically higher. Every time your agent has to retry a task, backtrack, ask a clarifying question, or spiral into a reasoning loop, that costs tokens. Weaker models do this more often. A frontier model like GPT 5.3 or Opus 4.6 gets it right the first time more consistently. That means fewer loop iterations, fewer tool calls, and less context being rebuilt from scratch. The community has been reporting this pattern consistently. The price per token goes up with each generation, but the total cost to complete an actual task goes down. Better models are also more resistant to prompt injection attacks, where a malicious input in a tool result tries to hijack what your agent does next. That is not a theoretical risk if your agent is browsing the web or reading external content as part of its tasks. The person who did the most useful public breakdown of this is Andrew Warner, who posted a detailed thread on X walking through exactly why the ChatGPT Codex connection is legitimate, what Anthropic's current position is compared to OpenAI's, and what your options look like depending on which provider you're using. The core of his post is straightforward. OpenAI has explicitly said this is fine. Anthropic has not said the same thing. So if you were using your Claude subscription to authenticate into OpenClaw, that is still genuinely risky. The OpenAI pathway is the one with official backing right now. Now I want to show you something that makes this setup even more interesting, because the ChatGPT Codex connection is great, but it does have weekly usage limits. The smarter approach is to run multiple model layers for different types of tasks. For anything lightweight, heartbeat checks, cron job summaries, routine monitoring, you do not need GPT 5.3. You're just burning through your weekly allowance on tasks that a faster, cheaper model handles perfectly well. Gemini Flash, through anti-gravity authentication, costs almost nothing and handles routine tasks cleanly. You authenticate it with OpenClaw models, auth login anti-gravity command, and set it as your default for low-stakes tasks. Then you reserve your ChatGPT Codex connection for the heavy work, complex research, multi-step planning, anything where the quality of the reasoning actually matters. If you want to go a step further, Qwen also supports a free tier authentication pathway directly inside OpenClaw. You enable it with OpenClaw plugins, enable Qwen portal auth, and then OpenClaw models auth login. That gives you a third option for tasks where even Gemini Flash feels like overkill. The pattern that makes sense for most people running OpenClaw seriously is this. Use GPT 5.3 Codex as your primary brain for anything that requires real reasoning or multi-step execution. Use Gemini Flash as your engine for routine and scheduled tasks. And if you hit rate limits on either, Qwen is there as a fallback. The bottom line here is simple. If you are paying separately for API tokens to run your OpenClaw agent, you can stop. 3 commands connect your existing ChatGPT subscription as the model provider. OpenAI has officially said it is fine. The model you get is one of the best available. And if you layer in Gemini Flash for routine tasks, you're running a smarter setup than most people using OpenClaw right now for no additional cost at all. If this helped you cut your monthly spend, hit subscribe because I put out setups exactly like this every week.